How many of you brought meals or slept overnight when the program was called Goshen Interfaith Hospitality Network and we went from church to church? Quite a few veterans here, Mindy. All right, very well. And also, what does it mean to us to have a home? We think of four walls, an address, a shelter from cold and heat. But emotionally, we also look to our homes for security, for peace in a conflicted world. I can't imagine losing our home at apartment 211, Banner 4 at Greencroft. My memory of the homeless folks who came to College Mennonite is that they were not eager to talk. They were expressionless, sort of dumb. A few said thank you. They just wanted to get through the day and the night. And we learned that they preferred hot dogs and Kool-Aid to healthy casseroles. Near the end of the week, the anxiety went up. It was time to move again. What would the next church be like? What would the next volunteers be like? This morning, we are pleased to welcome Executive Director Mindy Moorhead for what is now called First Light Mission. She and the board have seen the program evolve from a tiny space and moving around churches to a larger, better equipped single site. She administers a homeless program and much more. Cooperating with Oaklawn, they also address addictions and emotional needs. They partner with other churches and volunteers and other agencies, and they are still enjoying some modest budget support from College Mennonite Church. Mindy had a crash course in homelessness when, in COVID days, she was quarantined for 51 days in the shelter. She said it was a revelation of what shelter life was like, even to her. She and her husband and two daughters live locally, Milford. They enjoy going up to Mackinac Island and biking. And we are so pleased to have you here to learn about a 30-year program in our city. Welcome, Mindy Moorhead.
Thank you. Thank you guys very much for having me. I appreciate this. A lot has changed with Interfaith First Light Mission.
We have some hearing issues, so about this far is good.
Okay. A lot has changed over the years, and it really started with my COVID stay. I became executive director in 2017. And at the very end of that, we started taking single females. We were partnered with St. Mark's and on the second floor of that church. And I just seen the real need. Like Vic said, I seen it here. I seen it at all the other churches. By the end of the week, our guests were exhausted. They seen new volunteers every night and was asked the same questions. No, nothing against anyone who volunteered. We appreciated all the volunteers, but it was hard. It was hard for them to kind of live in everyone else's world and not have that safe place. So we moved into St. Mark's, then COVID hit and I got stuck there, and it really became apparent immediately we needed to be 24/7 staffed. We did not need to have volunteers in prime roles. We also needed to switch to where volunteers were there because they felt called to be, not because their church had some open nights and really needed to fill those. So we started changing things and changed drastically. I'm going to go through my slideshow and I'm going to show you pictures of the shelter. I think only one person in this room has actually been in our new shelter. Al and Peachy has been there. So I'm going to try and give you guys a tour the best that I can. After this, if you ever want to come for a tour, we love to show off our facility. We do a free, the third Thursday of every month, we do coffee and donuts from 7 to 8, and you can come get a tour. It's not a fundraiser. You're not asked for a dime, or you can just call and schedule a tour with me and we can do it at any time. So we would love to have you and show off our facility, but I'm going to try and do the best that I can. Do I just hit okay on these buttons?
It's really hard to hear in the back.
Oh, is that better? Sorry.
Just start over.
Start over. Oh, no, that's if I want to stop share. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay. We still kept the same mission statement. Our core values are still the same. We're devoted to providing resources and temporary shelter for the homeless in crisis. By partnering with congregations in the community. It's still extremely important to us to have volunteers in our facility and those still to be a part of the congregations. It just looks different. Not sure why. Okay. I'm not going to read our core values. They are listed in the pamphlets that Abby handed out. But we get asked a lot, and so I'm going to start with this. Why did we change our name? We were Goshen Interfaith Hospitality Network for over 22 years. We were under the Interfaith umbrella, and they came to us in 2019 and said that they were making everyone change their names from Family Promises or from Interfaiths to Family Promises. So we would have been Family Promise of Goshen. Taking single females, I still didn't feel like that said who we were. And around the same time, I get called by Goshen police quite a bit when they come across a homeless family. And I had met some officers with a lady with her children down by the river. She had a newborn. Someone had given her our number and she said, "Why would I call a hotel? I don't have money for that." The hospitality part. Nobody in need understood what that meant. Studies show that mission is just a common word for shelter. Those in need know if mission is in the name, it's somewhere they can get services. So we hired the Lightbox in Goshen, did a lot of research. They reached out to some volunteers, some past board members, and with our guests, past and current, and came up with the name First Light Mission. We do have some brochures. If you never received one and you would like to see one, Abby can give you one of those as well. But it just kind of goes over our color, why the colors were picked, why we picked the name, and the logo. And then we also have these awesome shirts available at the shelter if anyone's ever interested. So, but we picked First Light Mission because when our guests move in, they get 48 hours to sleep, relax, do whatever they want. And then after that 48 hours, they kind of hit the ground running. They set goals and what they want their life to look like. So they set long-term goals and then they set 30-day goals. Every 30 days, those goals are reviewed and gone over. They have to write us a readmission letter, and if they're making progress, they get an extension. Someone can potentially be with us for 2 years. Our average is 3.5 months. So First Light came from, they said that it felt like it was a fresh start, kind of a first light. And then we went with the Mennonite, it's a window looking out. We were going to put a candle in the windowsill, but it's just a window frame with a valley is what our logo is, and a sunrise. So, and then our tagline is a fresh start, a place of refuge. So you guys have seen us go from the tiny home on 3rd Street to St. Mark's to now the old Merritt Learning Center or Riverdale Elementary. We now, as of the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, have the entire building and are able to expand from 24 beds to 43 beds. So we went before BZA, we got approval. We have to have an egress window put in still in one of the rooms, and that will add 14 beds. But this is right when you come into the facility. So this is the front doors off of Wilkinson. They come in, the table there with the light on it is where we go through their bags and we wand them and we breathalyze every time they come in. So we're a lot safer. We don't have any issues of them coming in with drugs or alcohol, or any weapons. We also make them, if they smoke, there's some trays right there where they have to hand in their cigarettes every time that they come in. They have access to smoke from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. And so they can walk up and get them every time, but it also kind of cuts back that need for them to smoke because they don't want to walk there from the back of the shelter to the front constantly. So this is also where all of our offices are behind there. And then the computer that you can see straight ahead is where the security guard sits. So we have a security guard that we pay that works from 9:30 every night until 7:30 every morning. He watches cameras, does rounds, just make sure that it stays safe. And then this is the hallway right off of the security desk. So from where he sits, this is actually a view from that desk. You can see clear down the hallway into the sleeping, like where the sleeping rooms are and everything, which makes it really nice. It just feels so much safer and secure for everyone. We do pride ourselves on being a clean, safe shelter. So these pictures are what it looks like the majority of the time. Our guests have to make their beds by 8 o'clock in the morning. They have to be up and out of bed by 8. They have to keep their space clean. We are completely free. We don't charge a dime still. We meet all of their needs. We supply them with absolutely everything that they need. But we do make them do chores 3 times a week. So the very first room is our conference room. This is where we do board meetings, but this is also where we partner with a lot of agencies. So all of our guests now are mandated to do parenting classes. Triple P is in our shelter every Monday night from 6 to 8 p.m. doing parenting classes. And those are also open for the community. So it's really nice. It's not just a room full of our guests. It's usually about 50-50 with community members as well. We use volunteers during this time because we provide childcare. And so I will show you the room that we do that in, but that way they can focus on what's being taught. We also have La Casa that does financial management in this classroom. And then it is also where we celebrate birthdays sometimes, or we just use it for any other trainings. We've had people come in and do sewing classes. We have a lady coming in and making cards with our guests. And if everyone participates, she uses this room. So we just do different activities in this room. And then we allow other agencies to use it as well. We have a program that works with kids if parents need to go for, if they have addictions and they need to go for additional help at a treatment facility, then they will place the kids in a loving home while they're getting that help. And that agency uses this room as well for their board meetings and their trainings. And then this is the room where we provide childcare. This furniture, this is actually one of my favorite rooms to show off in person. The furniture that you see was custom made in 2017 by Wheeland Design, and it still smells like leather. We've had over 500 bodies on it. I've only ever cleaned this furniture once, maybe twice, and then staff have cleaned it a handful of times, but our guests keep this furniture clean. They take really, really good care of it. And this is the other half of that room. We done away with the TV, so we do not have a TV anymore We have one that we can use for special events if there's something happening or something fun going on. We'll probably have it out for the Super Bowl. Just when Notre Dame played the big game, we had the TV up for them to watch. But we don't have it every day. We want them interacting with their children, playing games, reading books with them down on the floor. We have laundry facilities. So if you were ever at St. Mark's, once we moved there and brought meals there, we did not have laundry facilities. So for those 4 years, we took all of our guests to laundromats. So this is one of the greatest things for me too. They do all of their own laundry. They get 7.5 hours at a time. They're responsible for signing out a time slot and making sure that it gets done. We do require them to do their laundry once a week, and they also have to wash all of their bedding weekly. And then this is in our single ladies room. So we were blessed with really nice furniture from Goshen schools when they moved out. All of our beds have these cubicle walls and these nice desks with a chair, so it gives them a private area. So if we have a single lady that's been with us for a few months and then we move someone else in, we don't have to worry about conflicts or anything really because they have their own private space. And then we partner with JSK Hospitality now. Several years ago, Kevin Derry told me, don't ever turn down a donation, no matter what it is. And I listened, and he says now I took that to heart. JSK is a hotel chain, and the gentleman buys hotels, cleans them up, and sometimes will change the brands. And when he changes brands, he has to replace all the furniture. So he now donates that to us. We use what we can. We have a storage unit that we supply household stuff to our guests, but then we partnered with Bullseye in Middlebury, which is an Amish-owned eBay company. And they will actually come pick up what is left and they sell it on eBay for us. So it turns it into money for us too. So it works really well. We've gotten very creative with donations in that way. This is another end of our single ladies room. So the quilts, most of our quilts are still made by Elkhart Homemakers Extension Club. We do have a few Amish groups that make them too. But all of our guests get to take those quilts with them and the fleece blankets. So it's a really cool thing to go into their homes and see those quilts on their beds. And then we have a table in our single ladies room where they can have a place to meet outside of they don't have to be with all the kids and all the families all the time. So sometimes we'll have meetings in there. It also gives other places agencies that are coming in and working with those ladies a place to meet with them one-on-one where there aren't kids. And then this is our family rooms. So we decided when we moved in here, we were going to build structural walls, but decided to use cubicle walls at first. And I absolutely love them. It gives us so much flexibility. This picture was actually when there was a family of 12 in this room. So there's no cubicle walls. We were able to take them down. They had the entire room. But then this is another where it's just 4. So there's cubicle walls. And currently in this room, there's 3 families in that room. So they have the cubicle walls that gives them a little bit of privacy, but not enough where they're super comfortable and don't keep working to make progress. There's a very fine line. We want it to be home. We want them to be comfortable, but we also want them to be self-sufficient and make their goals and be out on their own. So this really helps with that. And this is the other side, so you can see, and we've changed since this picture was taken where we have better cubicle walls that actually come out further. And then one thing that I really seen being locked in the shelter was we still had people dropping off food. And not all of our kids are used to casseroles. Like Vic said, they would prefer hot dogs over anything else. So a lot of food would get wasted. A lot of kids went to bed hungry. And I really thought, how can we fix this? So when the school came up, we had 7 months where um, our guests were in hotels, we were under construction, and me and other staff spent lots of time visiting other shelters, learning what they do, what works really well, what can we incorporate to be the best that we can be for our guests. And one of the things was 2 of them allowed the guests to cook their own food. So this is a school kitchen. I was really surprised by it. It's a very small kitchen. Um, and right away, I knew that we needed to be creative, but that's what we decided to let them do. They cook their own food. The kitchen is open 3 times a day for 2 hours at a time. We have had no problems with them fighting over who uses the space. They work it out really well amongst themselves. But with that, we knew that we had to also meet their food needs. So we now have a food pantry. And we have asked churches to take us on, adopt us for a week or a month and supply those needs. Jasmine, who's actually my oldest daughter, she handles all of that. They can reach out to her and see what is needed at that time. So not everyone is collecting the same thing. We have a running Amazon list, but she also, for those doing drives for us, gives them special things that we're getting low on. But every Tuesday, our guests get to shop in here. They get to take whatever they need. We don't have any limits on anything. They have lockers for their dry goods, they have refrigerator space, and they have freezer space. So we have some churches that keep us really well stocked on meat as well. We have 1 pound packages of ground beef, and we have chicken and pork. So this is the other half of the pantry. It's broke up by breakfast items, everything, but they have to plan their meals. They're cooking what their kids like. The kids aren't hungry anymore. This is probably one of the greatest things that we could have done. It's a huge difference. And then this is the dining room. We turn the gym into the dining area. The tables fold into the walls. If we needed to, we can fold them all up and turn it into a big play area. But we only use half of the gym for eating, and then the other half has carpet. And we actually have created a weight room in this corner, actually, where that sign is, with some exercise equipment. We are encouraging them to make healthy choices, eat better, and then we just decided to encourage them to exercise and do things as well to make their life better. So we put up some cubicle walls and have some we have a bike, a treadmill, an elliptical, and a weight bench. So, and it's used quite a bit. And then we have the air hockey table and we have a ping pong table for the kids. So, and then this is our outside agency space. Like Vic said, Oakland comes in. They have the far cubicle that just Oakland uses. And then we have 3 other cubicles. They all have phones. We have Wi-Fi down there, but they're also hardwired. And we have 2 of them that have computers in them, so they can, if they're doing something with one of our guests, the guest can use the computer. But this room also has a door going outside. So like Oakland will meet with people in the community as well, or in the neighborhood that can't quite make it to the window or can't make it in town somewhere. So it gives agencies a place to meet with others as well in the community, not just with our guests. This is where we do all of our intakes. You'll see the bed bug heater on the thing that looks like aluminum foil open. Everything cloth that comes into our shelter is ran through that. It's the greatest investment. We've never had bed bugs. Hopefully we never will, but it's because we are very strict. Everything gets ran through there. And then this is our clothing closet. So when we moved into the facility, we had a very small clothing closet for our guests at St. Mark's. And the superintendent said, why don't we partner and have a bigger clothing closet? I did not want to duplicate services at all. Um, so it was a little bit hard because the window has a really nice clothing closet. But we decided to do this, and this is a community clothing closet, except guests or clients do not shop here. Our guests, especially if they're there during season changes, can get clothes, but they can only have 30 articles at a time in their rooms. So it's really nice for babies. But we have a lot of churches. Actually, College Mennonite, their assistance fund has used us a few times, sending people to us. The police department uses us quite a bit. 3 months ago, I got a call from an officer. It was pretty late at night, and there was some kids taken to Goshen Hospital. They had no, they didn't have any pants or any underwear on, no socks. And he said, can you meet me at the clothing closet? We were able to get them brand new clothes, brand new undergarments, and he took it to them, and he said he felt like Santa Claus. They literally cried over the the underwear that he brought them. So we have made partnerships with Walmart and Myers. All of our kiddos get a brand new pair of pajamas when they move into the shelter. All of our undergarments are completely brand new, and that's not just for kids, it's for adults too. That's huge for their dignity to not be given used um, undergarments. So we have done everything that we can to really help with their dignity and pride. Uh, any agency can use this. Salvation Army uses this quite a bit. Any church can send someone. We just get their sizes and we bring it out, bring it up front to them. So there was just a family last week that had a pretty big fire. We were able to get what they needed for them as well. So it's really nice. The other thing is we have a baby room. So we have diapers and baby wipes, and these we also will supply to the community as well. We don't just keep these for our guests. We have 2 factories that are doing diaper drives quite regularly for us. So we've really been able to share. Salvation Army uses us quite a bit for that as well. We are very low on 4s and 5s and 6s right now. We have quite a few kids ourselves that take those sizes, and that just seems to be a popular size across the community. So we don't share those sizes very often, but we have to make sure we have what we need for the guests in the shelter first. And then we have storage closets, which is great because as long as in my 15 years, we never ever had storage anywhere for anything. And so we have lots of storage. We're very well organized. And when they come in, we're able to grab what they need, easily let them kind of pick the shampoos and then cleaning supplies and everything too. And then we have a great big yard, which is huge. So our guests have to be in by 4 p.m. every day unless they work. They can work any shift and they can come in. We allow driving time and a little bit extra after work. But other than that, they have to be in by 4 p.m. After 4 p.m., if they smoke or want to go outside, they have to come out back, and it's all fenced. All the gates are locked. The school had it that way, and we've just kept it, and we absolutely love it, especially for those parents that are learning how to better supervise their kids and pay attention to them. It's a safe, secure space for them to play. We had a church that donated some basketball goals. I actually thought I had a picture, but to the left of this picture is pavement, and we have 2 basketball goals there, and it also gives them a spot to ride bikes. My husband and I will pick up bicycles at garage sales if we see them pretty cheap, and we let the kids take them with them when they leave if they haven't had a bike. But it gives them, this grass area gets played in quite a bit, a lot of football. We have had 16 trees planted on the property since moving in, so we have 7 or 8 of them in this backyard now too that aren't in this picture, but we're excited for those to get bigger and give some shading and privacy as well. But so we've made lots and lots of changes. 30 years this year, October 15th, it will be 30 years since the first family stayed overnight. It's really exciting to see where we're at. We do stay full. I will tell you that the need has grown so much. 2 years ago, turning away 30 people a month was pretty high. In January of last year, we seen it fluctuate a little bit more. And then we seen it go to 70. And we were like, that's quite a bit. July hit, we turned away over 360 individuals from our shelter. Since July, we are averaging almost 200 a month. So the need has grown tremendously, and there's not beds. So we are looking at what the next step would be. I would love to have transitional housing in Goshen for our guests to be able to move into. And instead of starting out at market rate rent, their rent be able to be increased every couple of months to get them used to market rate. We also have went to long-term case management after they leave. They're not just out and we're done with them. We continue to stay in touch. If they want it, we will guarantee them at least 12 months case management. But we have people that's been out of the shelter for 5-6 years and still communicate with us and run things by us. We have required them to save 70% of their income if they work. They have to save it in-house, especially as they're going through their financial management classes. That way it's not at a bank where they have an ATM card and they're going and making withdrawals whenever they want. It's actually locked in a safe. There's 2 staff that can get it out for them, but they have to have a justifiable reason to withdraw from it. And we just had a single dad that left a couple months ago. He was not wanting to do it at all. But after he did it, when him and his daughter left, he had $4,500 saved, which has been great for them, just to have that security and to help them stay stable. But that's where we are now. And we still have a very small operating budget. We operate on $310,000 a year. I am very resourceful. I take a lot of pride in making sure every donation counts, make sure that we get the most for everyone's dollar. And we work really hard. So any questions for me?
Do the children go to school?
Yes. We actually have gotten away. A lot of our guests since COVID like to try to homeschool, and we make them enroll them in schools. You can't be in the situation that you're in and adequately give your child the education that they need. So we really encourage them to get them into school. And
Notice that you do not take single men. Is there any place in Goshen for single men who are homeless?
no, it's actually a very touchy subject with me. I would love to have program beds for single men. It will never, we work really close with Goshen Police Department. There's a resource officer, a homeless advocate officer on the department, and he believes there are beds at Faith Mission, and as long as there's beds, there will never be a place in Goshen for men to have. So it is something that as long as I'm there, I will continue to try and work on. I don't foresee it happening anytime soon, but it is needed. We just last week had a gentleman that came in and he stayed from about 2 o'clock in the morning until 9 o'clock in the morning, just up front. So we want them to be warm. We recognize that it's hard. It's hard for them to go to Elkhart. Um, I don't publicly, although I am saying that now, I don't share that often, but it is needed.
So if you don't take single men, but you take a family that would have a male and female,
We take single dads. So if you have children, we don't care what that looks like at all. And we take just single females without kids, and then we take mom and dads. We are the only shelter in northern Indiana that takes single dads. If you are a single father, it is super hard for you to find a place to be if you don't have your own apartment. It's really sad. And in the state of Indiana, if you're a single dad, you have custody of your kids. You are doing something right because we are very much a mom state. And so that needs to be looked at more. We've never had any problems. I get people asked all the time, what do you do about fornication, that kind of stuff. It's not an issue at all. Our single dads are so driven. We have one right now with an autistic son, and he is doing everything he possibly can for him and his son to have the best life that they can. And he is not, I don't worry about him interacting with the women at all. I mean, they all try to mother him, but we have more of that problem than anything.
An officer came and said, we have. And you. Having told him we do and showed him where they were. Let's go with that. You. Cars, living in cars. And the fact that you're turning away.
Yeah.
You decide who gets to come and who.
We do a first come, first serve basis. We don't do a waiting list. If you don't have a charge against children or an arson charge, then nothing really stops you. There are quite a few men right now that are sleeping out, not in city limits. Goshen has an anti-camping ordinance that really prevents them from being seen. But I know of 7 that are out kind of north of us, unsheltered. So
Job placement services do you offer your residents?
So we work with 2 factories pretty close that will actually take anyone that we have. Sometimes our guests haven't been the greatest at going to work every day, making sure they get there on time. And so we have 2 manufacturers that will actually work with us, and they'll call and say, hey, they're running late or they're doing this. Can we all come in and have a meeting? And so we circle around them instead of, they're so used to being disposed of that they become to expect that. It's very similar to foster children. You get disposed of enough, you just want to hurry up and get disposed of. So once they learn that that's not going to happen, then they build a family at that place and they stay. And one of them he says 2 of his best employees are previous guests there. So we have a mom who hadn't had a job for more than 3 months. She's been out of the shelter for about 4 or 5 years now and has been at this place for longer. I think she's almost at 6 years there. So and we're working on building more. We would love to have more businesses that wanted to work with our guests, but so we provide trolley passes. We will transport them at first, but we really encourage them once they start a job they usually can get friends to, yeah. And so we'll help them even pay for gas money to give to that person to pick them up for the first few weeks until they start getting checks. But whatever it takes to for them to be able to get there. Elkhart has a great bicycle program, and I would like to start that here. So where we get bikes and we can give them out with locks and helmets and go to work, and not just for our guests, but for other community members as well. So the place that is doing it doesn't have any openings to add more right now, but as soon as they do, we'll be one of the first ones added. So then we'll have that here. Any other questions?
Is Oakland, at least on Oakland. Being built for homeless people?
So they're building more permanent supportive housing through La Casa. And it's really hard for our guests to get into permanent supportive housing. So permanent supportive housing is funded through state, and they use a matrix program. And when you move into our shelter, you lose points. So like currently everyone in our shelter, our single ladies even don't have enough points to be able to move into permanent supportive housing. It goes by the trauma that you've been through, but being unsheltered gives you more points than being sheltered. So it's we're not counting on any of our guests being able to move into those apartments. We are working with La Casa to try and figure out some things that we can partner and do.
Possibly that would be a place where single men, you're eventually becomes.
Yes. Yeah. You had a question?
Relationship. Undocumented immigrants and homeless.
Yes. So we try really hard with that. I will tell you right now it's really tough. And actually I was with some other social workers yesterday and we were talking about it. A lot of them are kind of hiding right now. There was just a point in time count that the state does last week, and I know that put some fear in a lot of them. It's very scary days. What we see a lot of times with undocumented individuals when they move in, they're typically with us for a very short time because someone else finds out, their other connections find out that they're there, and their family is very well. Like we have a lot to learn from that population. They take their own in and really love on them and take care of each other very well. So they don't stay in the shelter very long. But it is something that definitely needs to be, we need to work harder. I currently have no Spanish speaking staff. Some of us are doing things to learn things. We have some apps where we can translate, but that does also make it harder. But we don't care whether they're documented or not for them to come into the shelter. That doesn't matter to us. So we're we get one small CDBG grant. We had went back to state dollars, but have pulled away from those again. We did that last year. We did not reapply even for this year, and will not be applying for state dollars anymore. The state seems to think that homeless can move into our shelter and move out in 20 days and be self-sufficient, and we don't want to do that to those that we serve. It creates a lot more issues than for them. than what it's worth. So we get a small CDGB grant and then from the city, but other than that, we are all privately donated or funded. So individuals, businesses, churches, any other questions? Oh, go ahead.
And you mentioned last year, Greencroft had a field trip. And I would just say I was very impressed and appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you. I'm really sorry. That spaced my mind here. Yes.
Because of Jubilee. Some of you are aware of Jubilee, the college church here. And I most respect for what you're doing there.
Thank you. We try really hard. It's not just us alone. I tell everybody all the time, we don't make a difference on our own. And one thing I haven't said much about is we have lots of partnerships. All of our kids get a membership to the Boys and Girls Club for free. We partner with Maple City Healthcare Vista. We really encourage them to not use the ER, to get into a family doctor, to do routine, to stop putting out fires, do routine maintenance on their bodies, take care of themselves. We partner with Oaklawn, but we also, this is new. So we were seeing mental health is on a rise. People are struggling getting into doctors. So we have also partnered with Bowen Center, which we're actually using more because our guests can get in and see a doctor within a week and start doing therapy within a week. Sometimes it's just a few days of us calling. And then we have signed MOUs with 3 other mental health facilities, one in Fort Wayne, one in Plymouth, and one in South Bend, where we don't have to do hospital clearance. So if somebody's in our shelter and getting into crisis, we don't have to add to that crisis by taking them to the ER. And then I don't have to have staff set with them for hours before they go to a facility. We can actually drive them directly to the facility and they direct admit from us. So all we have is driving time and then we can come back. And then we work with the Excel Center. We work with Salvation Army and Saving Grace. We have so many other, La Casa, Triple P Parenting. So New Mercies is our agency that will place kids while our parents get help if they need it. There's so many other agencies that really help and help us be as successful as what we are. So thank you guys very much.
Mindy, your presentation reminds me of the teaching of our Lord that we ought to be concerned for people in poverty. And when I think of this community and the quality of leadership that we have in La Casa, at Oak Lawn, at First Light Mission, at the Window, and I'm sure I'm skipping some other ones, I'm certainly thankful that churches have responded to the Christian teaching of concern for poor people. And thank you for especially reminding us of the need of homeless people, Mindy.